Recognize that tune, and you know it's time for Relics Radio. This is a family-friendly show, so the entire family can join us as we talk metal detecting and relic hunting. You can call into the show at 270-495-0315 or join in the chat and post any comments or questions you might have, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. You're listening to Relics Radio of Southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. And you are live again on Relics Radio from Southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee on this beautiful fall night. We want to welcome all of our guests here in the Americas and also all of our international listeners, especially those in UK and Australia that have been joining us over the past few weeks. And we have a great show lined up for you tonight. And as most of you know, this is our anniversary show. But before we get into that, let me get a few things out of the way here real quick. We've got a new schedule, and I posted that on the Relics Radio Facebook group page. We had one change in that schedule, and you'll be able to keep up with what guests that we're going to have. And by the way, we got Chuck Smalley next week with Southwest Shooters and Supplies and Prospecting. That's going to be a great show. Also, we've got new Relics Radio stickers that have just arrived. And if you want one of those, go to the Relics Radio Facebook group page. And all you have to do is just give me or send me a self-addressed stamped envelope, and I'll make sure that you get one of those. Be sure you catch our contest. On Digging with 7 YouTube page, we're giving away a Go Find 44 Mind Lab metal detector. We've got 169 entries in that, thanks to Tim Henderson and Murray Branch Outdoors. And then also, if you have a Relics Radio t-shirt from detectees.com, go to our Facebook, Relics Radio Facebook group page, post a picture there. We're going to give you, or we're going to give somebody a Garrett Carrot, and we've got 30 entries in that. And just a bunch of stuff going on tonight, ain't it, Jeff?
Oh, yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff. And congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary to you. I never thought when I first met Jeff that I'd ever say happy anniversary, but it is what it is, I guess, you know. But, yeah, it's been a great year, and, I was looking back at our stats and everything. We've had 26,091 plays on our show. I can't imagine that many people wanting to listen to, what is it that you say?
Two rednecks with a metal detector.
That's right.
And, it's funny, of course, a lot of shows and everything, have to be professional. Well, not every listener out there is going to be professional either. So, here we've got the name Two Rednecks with a Metal Detector. So, but we are doing great on our podcast.
We are. And, we owe that to our guest. And we owe that to our listeners, and we owe that to the people that take time to listen to us. And my chat always locks up, so I've got a new system in here tonight. I've got a different computer that I'm trying to run chat with, and to where I can keep up, because chat on Spreaker locks up real quick. And by the way, there was one other thing I wanted to bring up. If you didn't catch Josh Kimmel's Halloween show last night, that was a good show, wasn't it, Jeff?
Oh, it sure was. And there was a lot of history behind the 7 Mile Holler I didn't even know of. And then, of course, it was a great show. If you missed it, you need to go back and listen to it on the archives.
Go to Spreaker.com to Beyond Sight and Sound and catch that show last night. And who we got in the chat so far?
Well, right now we've got Bill Hayes. We got Denny in the house. Ohio Relic Hunter. Howdy, everybody. Little bit. There he is. Got a Ring Finder. Finding America. Will. Henry. Move on down here a little bit. Larry Stevens. Oh, Larry got me good day before yesterday. We'll might talk about that after the show. It was hilarious. But anyway, got Anita Jackson in the house. Let's go on down a little bit. There's that's about right. That's about it right now. Ken Guthrie.
Quite a few.
Moving so fast. Oh yeah, it's moving quick.
Yeah, it is moving quick, and that's a great sign whenever we have everybody that is in. And it being our anniversary show, do you remember last November?
I sure do.
We were just getting our feet wet. We didn't know how this thing was going to go. We didn't have everything set up like we wanted it. And there were a lot of things that we didn't know and didn't understand on the technical side of it, how to take callers and things like that. We've kind of worked our bugs out. Skype sent me an email that November 1st they were going to drop these old versions, and I kept complaining again, and it looks like tonight that everything is here. So we are going to be able to take your calls at 270-495-0315. And Jeff will put that in the chat after a while, but I guess we better bring our guest on, don't you think, Jeff?
Well, you were talking about the Skype and the numbers and everything. I guess if your voice is loud enough, you will be heard. So, and then speaking of if your voice is loud enough, if you speak loud enough, your voice will be heard. Our guest tonight, everybody knows him, Keebs.
It's the first annual victim of the Relics Radio. It's the first anniversary of the Relics Radio. Hey, am I on?
You're live.
You were live.
Oh, geez. I'm just playing some songs.
Yeah. Send
How
us.
is everybody?
Yeah, we're great. But send us a release on that tune right there, so that
okay.
so we can make a little bit of money off of it. You know, we're trying to make money every way that we can. Wow.
Well,
Well,
I
sure.
was trying to. Keebs, I was trying to find music today I could add on my YouTube videos that's starting fixing to come out. And I was like, hey, when you started playing it, I was like, hey, there's my music right there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do have one song that I wrote that's digging related. And it's called Am I Gonna Get Dirty Tonight?
Oh.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Are you going to play that for us sometime tonight?
Oh, maybe.
Okay. Well, we'll wait and see that. I told Keebs, I said I want you to at the close of the show to play and sing a little tune for us. I didn't know you was going to open with one too. I remember how you opened the show last year. You was wanting the cookies and everything, you know. And
yeah, well, I was. You guys sent the limousine around. I was waiting in the green room, and it was a fun time.
It was a fun time
Yeah.
for all of us.
Yeah, you meant to get them cookies, but Seven eat them all.
Yeah.
I sent him a few of them.
Yeah.
By the way, I told these guys pre-show when we were talking, we've got a PBS broadcast engineer in the studio here tonight that is not going to do anything. He's just monitoring and watching how this whole process goes and everything, all the technical side of it and everything. He's not going to turn any knobs or anything, but he'll be silent in the studio here tonight. But wanted to at least get that out. Hey, Keebs, do you remember last year?
Is this a roast?
No, it's
yes, I do. Well, barely. You know, if it wasn't for flashbacks, I'd have no memory at all.
Yeah. Well, I
remember. Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah.
It was, I think for our first show, I think it was a good show, though, don't you?
Absolutely. It was footloose and fancy-free. We had a great time, great audience with tons of nice questions, and we had a jolly good time.
I think we did, too.
Yeah, we had a great time. I mean, I didn't even know what a podcast was until Lloyd had to tell me that first day, and I was like, "Hey, yeah." So, and we sure had a great guest.
Jeff thought it was something to eat. He thought it was something like a pot roast.
Yeah. He asked, "I want to do a podcast." Well, yeah. How long does it take to cook?
You got any taters with that, and onions, and pinto beans and cornbread?
He was like, "No, that's not what I'm talking about."
No.
So,
how's the year been going with you, Keebs?
Well, for people who follow Stealth Diggers and all, shortly after our show last year, I went into the hospital with a hernia operation.
I remember that.
Yeah, which put me out of commission all winter long. Which means I didn't have to shovel any snow.
There's benefits to being sick, isn't there?
Yeah. And gosh, I had such support from Stealth Diggers. Gosh, I couldn't have made it through, without them.
Y'all have got a close-knit family there, don't you?
Oh, yeah. We have we're family. Yeah.
Did you talk any of them into calling in and joining the show here tonight with us?
Well, I told everybody I knew.
Well, maybe they'll join us then here in a little bit.
What's that number again?
It is 270-495-0315. And if
I'm going to call right now.
You don't have to call. You're on the show. Hey,
Keith, just tell them I put it in the chat, and then they can look at it.
And by the way, if you're listening to the show and you don't know how to get into the chat, you have to go to episodes. And then when you go to episodes, this show will have a red bar that says live. Click on that, and then you'll have a little comment balloon that comes up. And it's confusing a lot of times for people. And by the way, M.A. Lyman is in the house. Congratulations, Mike, for winning the silver dollar last night on Josh's show. You had a great story. And these guys are just beating me up right here in chat tonight, Keebs, on the 1862 picture I put of myself on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, I was thinking you was a little old to fight in the Civil War. I wasn't really for sure. Revolutionary War, maybe, but
yeah. Hey, Keebs, for those that, I tell you what, let me get into a question here because I think this is a great question, and it's from Bob McCracken, and he wants to know what your thoughts are on the evolution of metal detecting, like the way it used to be, the way it is now, and then kind of broaden that out, and let's talk about the effect of technology, which would be detectors, social media, and the impact that it has had, the impact of podcast and YouTube and things like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Wow. Well, way back when, there really weren't that many people out there, and the people who were doing it, they were all considered nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
old man.
Yeah. But I wasn't. I was a strapping young guy right out of the service, and we were finding tons and tons of silver coins. They were just everywhere. No matter where you went, you could be on the library lawn, your neighbor's lawn.
I remember those days. Let me stop you for just a minute and ask you what year you started.
Well, I guess when I was in the service, because they gave me a metal detector that was called a landmine detector.
Oh, Lord.
And that was quite intriguing, and it sparked me. And, after that, I had some weird, very basic Radio Shack model. 74, maybe? Yeah, right around there.
Well, you got me beat by 3 years because I didn't start until 77. But, you're right. I lived across the street from a school, and whenever I got my first metal detector, I went across to that school, and I guess I dug 50 silver coins because they were just laying everywhere. That was what was lost,
Right, and they weren't that deep in the ground.
No.
And to tell you the truth, after a while, that kind of got kind of boring.
It did. It did.
I mean, we'd have our pockets would be full, absolutely full, and I'm not joking. No matter where we went.
Well, you remember, at that time, and even before that, say in the 60s, we were still getting standing Liberty quarters in change. Buffalo nickels were very common. Mercury dimes were very common whenever you got changed. Now, we didn't get too many Indian head pennies, but wheats were everywhere. And, all of that really didn't phase out probably until the early 70s, I'd say, wouldn't you?
Exactly. Yeah, it was. The progression was less and less, once a week, once a month, once every 2 years.
Yeah.
Now, never.
Well, I've got a good friend of mine. He put his daughter through college because he started metal detecting in the 70s. And with all the silver coins that he'd found in this little rural town, he put her through college. So they had to be everywhere.
They were everywhere. I mean, they were absolutely everywhere. But I didn't mean to break in on you or cut you off on the evolution and everything.
Yeah, and I almost fell out of favor with metal detecting because it just got boring. It was the same old thing. And I would just go out on special occasions opposed to once, twice, 3 times a week until like about, 5 or so years ago, I bumped into Charlie, and as you guys too, we dig history now. More so than looking for that prized coin.
And those prized coins come, but they just don't, they're not as numerous as they were when we first started. And,
right.
I don't have anything against, say, a Mercury dime or a standing Liberty quarter or a Walker or anything. I would certainly take those. But I've noticed on some of my videos let's just say over the past year, I remember a colonial site that I was hunting, and we don't have near as many of those as y'all do up there. But we're lucky enough to have a few. And I was on one of those, and I was branching out trying to find out if there was a community, if there were some more. And got on another knoll there and had a real sweet signal, and I dug it, and it was a Mercury dime. And then a foot or two away from it, I got another real nice signal, dug it. It was another Mercury dime. And I noticed on my video, I said, foot. It's just another Mercury dime,
Yeah.
Now, if it had been a flat button, I'd been jumping up and down, yeehaw.
Right. Yeah.
Keebs, what about the coppers? Okay, when you first started, how many coppers did you find a day?
A day?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say on average 3 a week.
3 a week, okay.
Yeah. And but those were in the old houses, yards and such.
Yeah, I was fixing to say you wouldn't find a lot of those in an old schoolyard or something.
No.
Unless there was no house, that predated the school or the church. Now, churches you might find a few, if the church was old enough.
Yeah.
But
right.
What do you think the effect of the technology from that old, whether it was a Heath kit or a Radio Shack detector, and then you get up to the XP Deus and the Equinox today? What a change that we've seen in technology. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And it shows when we've gone to, let's say, a particular cellar hole, we've seen the signs that it's been dug. There's metal sitting on the foundations and stuff. People, leave that there. They don't cart it out. But we'll find tons of, coppers, buttons, stuff that they missed. because the machines, I don't think they were really cherry picking for the silver. They just weren't finding it. They weren't able to isolate.
I think that's the deal.
Yeah.
I think it's isolation, don't you, Jeff?
No, I sure do. And I mean, that's why we got the new Equinox. But I mean, it's unbelievable how well a bunch of nails will mask some good targets.
And people don't understand that. And you guys are notorious for using small coils, aren't you?
Yes. Well, I use an 11, but it goes very deep and very narrow.
Right.
On the dais.
But
everybody else, yes, they have the small coils.
Yeah, I know that most of them have the 5x8. Most of them use Garrett's, and
yes,
and they've got the 5x8 coil on. And me and Jeff have got the snake coils for the AT Pros. And by the way, I've had I don't know how many different detectors. Jeff's had I don't know how many different detectors, but we still love the AT Pro. It is a hard machine to beat. Working a colonial house site. I'll just be truly honest with you. It is a hard machine to beat.
It really is. And I catch myself going back to it about every time I go metal detecting. So
yeah, it's my backup machine.
Yeah. But you use XP Deus, don't you?
Correct, primarily. Yep.
What programs are you using in that? Most of the time, like when you hunt a cellar hole, what kind of program are you running in that?
Well, I think at the beginning of this year, they upgraded to 4.0, 4.1. I'm still on the 3.8 or whatever it is. I'm not exactly sure.
I think it's up to 5.1 or something now.
Okay, then I'm on 4.1.
Okay.
What it is, there's a program in there that I have gotten so accustomed to that I don't need anything else, and it's the relic mode. It's a factory program, but I've done a few tweaks to it, and I tweak it every time at every site according to the ground. And you got to do that with about every machine, even the AT Pros and the AT Golds.
Yeah, yeah, you do. And Nick Hawes and Jesse Rogers both say that the current program for the XP Deus is 5.2. So okay. You're a little out of date, I guess. But if it's working,
I have no need to
go fix it.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
What kilohertz does that machine run? I know you can change the kilohertz on it.
I can change it, but the relic it runs at 8.
8, okay.
At 8.
Yeah.
And see, the AT Pro runs at 15. The AT Gold runs at 18. And Jeff had a AT Gold for a while borrowed whenever his AT Pro was on the fritz. And I didn't like the way the Gold sounded myself. I don't like the way the Max sounds. But I think that that's just a matter of preference, what you're used to, because we both got AT Pros when they first come out. And, the Gold and the Max are probably better detectors. I just don't like the sound of them.
Yeah. If I can go back to some of our hardest hit sites and then pull out some relics, I could get used to whatever sound that machine makes. I mean, I'll just be honest.
Yeah. True. The Gold is very noisy, but that's how it is. If you're in the way Charlie describes it is, if you're a ham radio or you're listening to AM, there's all that static, but you're listening for that tone to come through.
Right.
And that's what, makes it.
It is. And the iron is more pronounced on the Gold than it is the AT Pro also.
Mm-hmm. Right. It tells you that it's there.
Yeah, it does. And, I've seen Charlie just swing his, and when you're trying to show that you are in a place there that has a lot of iron and everything, he'll just swing it, and I mean it's just going crazy. And I thought, wow, is there that much iron in that? And then come to find out, whenever Jeff got his machine or borrowed that machine, then all of a sudden he swung it around and it did the same thing. That's just what the Gold does. Hey, guys.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to wear headphones.
No. No, you don't. Hey, we're coming up on a hard break. Let's do this commercial and we'll be right back.
Sure.
Hey, Seven, we's looking good in our new Relics Radio t-shirts.
Yeah, Ken and Mark Guthrie of Detectives.com done brung them to us.
Yep. And they makes other shirts, too.
Yeah, boy. Detectives.com can handle tees for your club, hunt, or any other promotion folks may have.
They even got the Wide Pride shirts.
Yeah, them boys does the manatee crawl.
Yeah, scooting on their bellies.
That's what I said. The manatee crawl.
Looks like slugs eating jelly.
So whether you hunt horizontal or vertical, tell the folks where they need to go, TJ.
www.detectives.com.
Oh, he's playing along with the song there. I'm gonna have to cut the music off of your feed over there, Keebs. Keep you from playing. Oh, I still love that commercial, and thanks again to Jeff Ford. He's the voice behind all of the Detectives commercials for us. And by the way, guys, if we give away a shirt tonight, we're going to give it away to a brand new caller. So give out the number again there, Jeff, and somebody will have the incentive maybe to call in, a new caller. Now, we're not going to give it to somebody that calls in all the time. But go ahead and give that number out verbally, Jeff.
It's 270-495-0315.
555.
We were talking about the evolution of metal detecting and everything, and one place that I think that you will agree that we really see a difference today is with social media, podcasts, YouTube, all of that kind of stuff. What effect do you think that has had on the hobby?
Well, way back when it was, you basically had magazines to read, and then with the internet coming in, there were forums where you type in your question, you get an answer, and you meet friends and such.
Right.
And that's all there was for quite a while. Then all of a sudden, the boom of YouTube and social media just took right off, made a very small world in the detecting community.
It did, and we have a caller that has come in. M.A. Lyman. What's going on tonight, Mike?
Not too much, Seven. Yourself?
Sitting here jawing with Keebs of Stealth Diggers. By the way, congratulations on your win last night.
Thank you very much.
That was an amazing story, and I like all the puns that you guys have put out on that too.
It's pretty funny. How you doing, Jeff? How you doing, Mr. Keebler?
Just fine.
I'm fine, Mike.
Right as rain.
I love that coin.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like it.
Well deserved.
Hey, I have just a quick question for Mr. Keebler. I just want to know how long he had his YouTube channel going for, and now that he's over 1,000 subscribers, where does he plan on taking it to?
Oh gosh. Well, for those of you who don't know, I have my own little YouTube channel, and I'm just an old guy hooting and hollering playing the ukulele. And I've had it seriously about a year, but it's been up there for a couple of years, just sitting stagnant, and I'm just doing what I love. I pick some songs and I'll play them, and where I'm going with it now that I'm over 1,000. Well, I could monetize it. I might not. I don't know. You're up to when you monetize, you don't know what you're going to get for commercials. Do I endorse those commercials? Probably not. But I don't know. I am going to start doing reviews of instruments and such. That's going to be that's fun. This
cool.
channel basically gets me through the winter when I can't detect with the guys.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, I want to congratulate you for finally getting over 1,000 subs, and I love tuning in every week and listening to the songs you play on your ukuleles. It's pretty neat.
Now,
Oh yeah, I play songs that you would never in a million years think you'd hear on a ukulele.
he does that. There's no doubt about it. And you play those songs that me and you grew up with. And for those of you that don't know, me and Keebs both were in the Civil War.
Yeah, yes.
Did you both know Uncle Sam too, or
do what?
Did you both know Uncle Sam too, or?
Oh yeah. We knew Uncle Sam. We knew Uncle Bob. We knew them all, didn't we, Jeff?
Oh, sure did.
Somebody asked me the other day about Robert E. Lee, and what kind of guy was Robert E. Lee? And I said, he was a good guy. And I said, when he talked, whenever you see him, you just expect this real gruff kind of fella. But I said, when he talked, he reminded me of Mark Hoover. Mark's a good buddy of ours. And by the way, Mark, I was hunting yesterday and I didn't find anything. You didn't call me. I found one buckle's all I found. So you're gonna have to
the last few times Mark's called and you've been over digging a good target, hadn't you?
Oh yeah, he's brought me a lot of luck.
Well, call me, Mark.
You got to be hunting when he calls, though. I mean, he can't call me if I'm sitting up here working. I got to be hunting, and he's timed those pretty good. Every call that he's made. Now, I don't guess I'll get to get out tomorrow. In fact, I don't guess I'll get to get out anymore now until probably next Thursday or something. But yeah, it's worked out quite a bit. Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about Stealth Diggers? I know you've been a long-time watcher of their program and the camaraderie that Keebs and Digger Charlie and Ninja and all of the guys have, and guys and gals on that show.
I love Stealth Diggers. It was one of the very first channels that I subscribed to. I love the things that they do, the things that they go out and do, the machines. It's funny how when you pick up a machine, you end up watching the channels that have the same machine as you. But it was just neat. All the different people that go out with them, all the relics that they found. I've learned so much about relics, what ox knobs were, oxen shoes, all kinds of things. And I continue to learn every week just about something new that they find or do,
Well, thanks, Mike.
And
thank you, Mr. Keebs.
You live up in that area. I mean, you have the possibility of finding a Crotal bell, and you have the possibility of finding those old coppers where me and Jeff, we're pretty limited, even on large cents or anything, but, you have the opportunity to find some of the same things that they do.
Oh, yes, I have. Actually, I took Trooper Bry out to a farm I had here in Marlboro, and I found my first full Crotal bell with him. It was pretty neat. But, yeah, the relics here in New England are amazing. I feel very blessed to be up here in this area, and it's just one of the things I really like. But I'd love to head south, too, to get a chance to dig some Civil War relics as well,
Well, swing by and get Keebs and bring him down with you then.
Road trip, Mr. Keebs.
Yeah, road trip.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find something.
You don't bring that eye with you though, Mike. I tell you.
No, that's it. Yeah, here. I don't like traveling with that thing. It scares me.
Hey, of course, I had a story on there, but if I hadn't already had a story, I had a different one that I could have told. And you having the prosthetic eye kind of reminded me of it. Whenever our girls were young, I don't know, they were probably 7, 8, 9 years old. And we live out in the country, and there's a big bluff behind us and a big creek down in the bottom and everything. And those kids they'd get up in the morning and they'd head off over that bluff down in the creek and they'd play there all day. We had no clue where they were at or what they were doing. And there were 4 girls and 1 boy. And they'd go down there and they'd just play all day and everything. And we heard this screaming. And then coming up through the pasture, we saw a couple of the girls coming, and they were just screaming bloody murder. Well, most all of them. And then one of my daughters and then my nephew was in the back, and I seen that they had something. I couldn't tell what was going on, and I thought, well, one of them's got killed, one of them has broke a leg or something other. And here they come. And they had a prosthetic leg, and I'm not talking about some peg leg something. I mean, this was a nice leg. And I mean, it looked like a real leg. And they said, we found this in the creek. Well, I call the sheriff and I tell him what I found or what they found. And he comes out and he looks at it and everything, and he said, well, we'll check and see if there's any missing person, that had an artificial leg, and I'll get back with you. And I said, you don't want to take it? No, he said, I don't need to take it. You just keep it here, And so I seen him about a week later, and he said, I hadn't found anything. I'm going to reach out to the adjoining community or counties. Seen him about a month later. I hadn't heard anything, said we hadn't found anything. So it rocked on there for 2 or 3 months. And then finally, I called him, and he stopped by, and he said, I can't find anything. He said, I don't know what the deal is on it. Somebody just probably threw the thing out there, in the creek. And I said, Sheriff, they wouldn't have thrown this kind of leg away, I mean, something has happened. He said, well, I can't find it. I said, well, what do you want me to do with it? He said, well, either keep it or throw it away. So I kept it for a week or two, and then finally we had to roll our trash can out to the road, and I stuck that leg in there, and it wouldn't go all the way down in the trash can, just the foot part of it sticking out, And then I hid up beside the house and watched the trash men. They pulled up, and they circled around that for 7 or 8 times. They just look it. They didn't touch it. They didn't get it out. They just rolling around, looking and everything. And then they just drove off. They didn't empty my trash. And in a minute, well, the sheriff called me again. He said, the trash man called me and said that you've killed somebody and you're burying the parts in the trash.
Oh, my God.
But they finally picked it up and threw it away. But I thought about that whenever you had the eye there.
Too funny.
Hey,
a guy was swimming or something and lost his prosthetic leg.
I don't know. I don't know what the deal was. Hey, Mike, we were talking to Keebs a while ago about the evolution of metal detecting and how social media and podcast and live streams and YouTube and everything has affected it. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, watching YouTube alone got me into the hobby, but after starting my channel, there's nothing like promoting your channel with the use of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all those other social medias out there. It really helps get the word out, and it gives you a bigger audience than just YouTube itself. I mean, if you can link your video to a Facebook page and someone's on that page, but they don't do YouTube, they can click on your video and go and watch it. It's really nice.
It is. And I'm like you. I started watching Stealth Diggers way back, probably, about the time I started my channel, I guess. It's probably been 5 years ago. And
wow.
I really fell in love with their whole situation there, the camaraderie that they had. And I'll be honest with you, Keebs, y'all have been a real influence on the style of hunting that I do, because you were talking about forums a while ago. I left the forums because I had gotten into colonial sites and finding flat buttons and stuff. And the people on the forums, they'd rather see a mercury dime than a flat button or a crow bell or any kind of relic.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah, without a doubt. And you can see that in some of the YouTube video channels too. Certain people gravitate towards the people who just coin shoot, and other people, they want to know the history.
I think the history is the deal. Don't you, Jeff?
Well,
it sure is, and that's one thing that helps our videos is you do the history clips, and I mean it's amazing. You learn something every time you watch one. So I mean it's really really good to do the history clips.
It's funny. I mean, you got your beach hunters, you got your relic hunters, you got your coin shooters, you got your your school ground hunters. I mean, there's so many different varieties out there. It's nice just to watch a little bit of everything out there.
It is, and it's like Keebs said a while ago. You got tired of finding silver coins, and so you got into relics. Don't you think it's the same thing by watching different videos and the different type stuff that they hunt? I was asking Keebs.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it.
You missed it. You got to quit fooling with that ukulele.
No, I was reading the the chat.
Oh, we're reading the chat. What I was saying, you kind of got burnt out on finding silver coins, and then whenever you got into relics, it was kind of a new life. And
yes.
I think that we do that with videos. We watch, of course, I'm a relic hunter. I like watching relic hunting videos. But if I get burned out on that, we can watch beach hunters, we can watch coin shooters, and it's a good change of pace, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, there's metal detecting is like an onion. There's so many layers. Hey, I'm getting philosophical here.
Yes, you are. Us old people do that, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, Denny's picking on you in the chat room, Loy.
Denny.
Said you look like a Confederate general.
Oh, I didn't know that Denny was in there. You're talking about Denny or Dennis?
That's why.
Denny. Well, he goes by Dennis or Denny. So.
Yeah, but Denny is ring finder. I didn't think ring finder.
Yeah, Denny.
Okay. Well, they all pick on me, so it doesn't matter to me. They sure
Howdy,
do.
Trooper Bry.
Is Trooper Bry in?
Barbara. Yeah, and Barbara.
Yeah.
Hi, Barbara. Oh, Madison, Maine. Michael Protector.
Yeah, give them all.
Oh, yeah. Look at them all. Wow.
Hey, guys.
Get lost in those.
Yeah. Call in.
Hi, Becky.
Call in to the show. Jeff, you go ahead and give out the number again and everything.
270-495-0315.
And
Five.
and I'm adding a caller, 4972. But let's do this commercial, and we'll pick this call up right after that. If your passion is metal detecting, then you know how much your success is based on the equipment you use. Let my buddy Tim Henderson of Murray Branch Outdoors in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, help you with that. Tim is an authorized dealer of Garrett, XP Deus, and macro detectors and supplies, and he is now an authorized dealer for MineLab. So if you're looking to get your hands on one of the new Equinox 600 or 800, then Tim's your guy. Murray Branch Outdoors is not only competitive in their prices, but the service after the sale is second to none. Tim not only sells detectors, he uses them, and so he can answer any question that you might have. Murray Branch Outdoors also deals in used detectors, and he'll take your old detector in on trade when you decide to upgrade. So give Tim Henderson of Murray Branch Outdoors a call at 615-948-4611 and be sure and tell him that Relics Radio sent you. And if you have any metal detecting needs, give Tim a call. He's a great guy. He hunts. He knows his machines. He'll answer your questions. He's just a phone call away. And we thank him for sponsoring the MineLab Go Find 44 giveaway, which we are going to give away on December the 13th on this show. Last four numbers, 4972. Who we got on the line?
This is Jordan Anderson.
Hey, Jordan. How are you doing?
Hello, Jordan.
Oh, not too bad. We're driving tonight, so I can't type into chat, so I figured I'd give you a call. I actually had a question for all of you guys. Is there one thing that you've found that you have absolutely no explanation of why it's there?
Go ahead and take that.
Something so out of the...
Yeah. Go ahead and take that, Keebs.
I guess the one thing that really threw me, but I have the explanation, but it threw me. I thought I'd have to go down south to find this. Was a Civil War a belt buckle.
All right.
Obviously, it was brought home with them, but I would never in a million years thought that I would find one up here.
Yeah, we were just digging in a peat bog where everything sinks away. There's nothing out there. And we found an axe head sitting right 2 inches down is all it was. And we couldn't figure out how it got there, or everything else disappears. It just sinks away in that bog. For some reason, that stayed up.
Wow. I don't have an explanation for that either. And that plate that you found, Keebs, that was a sword belt plate, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, the heavy duty one with the eagle on it.
Yeah. I remember that. You got quite excited over that find.
There was a lot of barks going on, of barks.
Yes, there was.
In fact, I think you were one of the first people that I PM'd on that. I texted you almost right away and went, woohoo, look at this.
You did? Because about the same time, I was looking for a large sin, and you and I were texting back and forth quite a bit at the time.
Yeah.
And we've got too busy, hadn't we? We don't do that anymore. They just only so many hours in a day, and when you branch out with all the stuff that we do. Hey, Jordan, where are you located at?
Right in the center of Minnesota.
Okay. And y'all been hunting today then in Minnesota?
I'm just driving home from work right now. Every Thursday night I'm driving home from 4-hour drive, so listen to you guys and pass the time.
We've got
another caller.
We got another caller in, and I don't know why the music was playing with that. 7394, who we got on the line now?
Hey, Lloyd, this is Will from Ohio, Crooked River Detection. How are you?
Doing good, Will.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Hey, go ahead. I got a question here for Keebs. I know he's been doing it a long time. He said he got bored with those silver coins. I'm just wondering, one, what's your favorite find? I know that's probably going to be hard to come up with there, and also, two, what's something that you haven't found yet that's still on your bucket list?
Hey, two great questions.
Very good question. Well, that belt buckle was pretty joyous in my mind. Also, that Civil War era pistol that I found was quite amazing. I mean, almost every hunt I find something I really like.
Yeah, y'all.
But
you've got a lot of history up there.
Yeah, but what I haven't found that is like number one on my list is a weather vane.
Huh?
A weather vane.
I would love to find an old colonial weather vane.
Yeah. That is interesting.
Out of all of the people that we've talked to, and this is our 1-year anniversary, and we've had 52 guests this year. Out of all the guests that we have, we generally get around to, what's on your bucket list. You are the first person that has ever said a weather vane.
Oh man, for me to find a weather vane, I would just get. I found a dead guy. Out in the woods, so that was almost my bucket list ender there. But no, a weather vane, without a doubt, a full weather vane from the colonial period, and my bucket list is full.
Well, that would be good, I tell you. And
I never thought about it. So I mean, that's on my bucket list now. But I mean, I didn't never really thought about it.
Yeah, or even a partial one, but a full one, yeah.
Oh yeah. Man.
Well, let me get back to Jordan and Will here real quick before they get off. Have you guys got any other questions that you want Keebs to answer? Go to you first, Jordan. You got another one?
No, that's all I got.
Okay. What about you?
Any of these guys first-time callers?
They're both first-time callers. Jordan Anderson and Will both are first-time callers. So we're gonna have to let Ken Guthrie pick the shirt winner here tonight. Do some kind of random draw or something other. We'll put Jordan Anderson down as number 1, and we'll put Will down as number 2, and then however many other callers that we can get. I hope we get some more in tonight. And hey, Will, have you got another question?
Yeah, I got one more question for him.
Okay.
Where's the one place that you've always wanted to detect, but you've just never got around to it? It's on your bucket list for where you want to go detect.
Well, the last time I was on Mars, I forgot my machine. Oh, gosh. Well, if I didn't live in New England, I would say New England because, gosh, this is the place. Other than that, oh, gosh, I don't know. Mesopotamia?
Definitely.
Something like that.
Yeah. Definitely Mesopotamia, because that is the oldest part of civilization. I mean, it started right there. And, you can find some old stuff. Hey, Will, we're getting some wind noise off of your connection here. So
yeah, I'm at work here. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. I appreciate it though, guys. Have a good night.
Okay,
thank you, Will.
Listen to the show and we'll catch you later. And we got another call.
All right, guys.
Denny Morrison is on the line. What's going on,
Hey,
Denny?
Denny.
Hey, you're not in
Hi there, y'all.
You're not in. You're not in the running for the shirt, Denny, because you're not a first-time caller.
Oh man, I'm the first time caller of this 1 minute. My question is, what was your first metal detector? When did you start metal detecting? What year? I know you can't beat me, but that's okay.
All right. As I was telling the guys earlier in the show, my first metal detector was called a landmine detector, and that was in 1972. U.S. Army, 307th Engineers.
Yeah, I was there in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and then
I was already home. I was already working again.
But after that, it was a very cheap Radio Shack model, 1974.
Yeah. Well, you're way ahead of me then, because I only started in 83.
83? I started in 77, Denny. Here
I know it, man. You guys are older than dirt.
I know it. Well, you've seen my
almost as old as Mark.
You've seen my
I had to
picture.
throw that in there.
Yeah. Hey, Keith, Keebs, did you ever see those old Heathkit Radio Shack?
Yeah.
Did you ever know anybody that had one?
Yeah, a friend of mine, another geeky nerd, built one, and we went out, and it basically did the same thing as the Radio Shack. When you'd go over anything, it could have been a
starting to sound like Barb now.
Yeah, could have been a hubcap. It could have been a silver coin.
Yeah.
Keys, we got a question from Digging Nook. She was.
Hi, Liz.
Where did you get the name Keebler?
Oh, that comes from way back, about almost 5 years ago. I love old trees, and older the better. And those old trees, those big old maples, they kind of get hollowed out, so you can crawl right inside of them. You can set up home if you want. And I was inside there in one, and Just Bob said, "Hey, look, Mr. Keebler." And it just stuck. And
that's a good one.
Yeah. And been like that ever since.
You know what they use those trees for? Those and sycamore trees? They use them for smoke houses.
For what houses?
Smoke houses.
Oh, the old trees?
In hundreds, they used them for, and actually, a lot of people even used them for cisterns. The rainwater would go into those and use them, and then put a pump in it.
Man.
Yeah. When we come up to cellar holes, and there's almost inevitably there's two big giant maples on either side. They're commonly known as coffin trees.
Well, probably maple. Yep.
Yeah, for the fact that they planted, I think it's just a mess. Maybe not. But those were the trees that they would chop down when the mom and dad died to make the coffins out of.
Man.
It's funny that you say that, because just today we were out in the yard, and my wife and I, and we were talking, and years ago when we first built our house here, we went to Dale Hollow Lake, and there were some just little bitty saplings out in the water, and the wave action had really just kind of dislodged them from the ground, and they were going to die. And I picked up 2 or 3 of those and put them in a wet newspaper, and we brought them home and planted them. And one of those trees is huge today. It's a pine. And I told my wife, I said, I've thought once or twice about I said, I could get a real good log out of that now. I said, I've thought once or twice about cutting that down, having it sawed up, and just build my coffin. You know what she said to me? You better hurry up.
That's funny. That's the way I want my coffin made. And then, 2 friends and want the same coffin. That's pretty cool. Go ahead and make me one while you're at it, Seven.
No, I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to make my own coffin. I ain't going to get in the coffin business. I got enough work to do right now.
John Lambert had a question. Have you ever found a silver thimble?
A silver thimble. Never silver, no. But tons and tons of everyday thimbles.
No.
I have to say I found a silver thimble in a lot of towns, and like my town, had thimbles with their names on it.
Silver thimble. Never silver, no.
Caller with
Let me cut the radio.
Hold on a minute. Caller with the
I have to say I found a silver
last 4 numbers, 2695. Turn your volume down.
Got it.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, we were having deja vu all over again right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've seen a gold thimble come out of the ground too.
Wow.
Oh, kid. I've never even heard of one.
I never seen a gold one. Who we got? 2695.
This is your neighbor, Larry Stevens from Bug Tussle, Kentucky.
Man, he got me.
Hey, Larry Stevens. What's going on?
He wants us to turn it down.
He wants us to turn it down.
That's right. Well, I had the clicker thing on there, but I didn't. It wasn't fast enough to make it work. So no, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to call in and make a little fun of Jeff as well as, let you guys know that, I am a long-time listener, first-time caller, Rush. So,
yes, you are.
As a matter of fact,
you're number 3.
I did not even have a metal detector this time last year when I listened to this, your anniversary podcast, your opening podcast. So, technology has changed. Social media is a big influence. And I was 10 years old when the Civil War started, so it has.
Is that when you lived?
Not as old as Lloyd, but I was hanging in there pretty close. So I remember it well.
Hey, what are you swinging now, Larry? What detector did you get?
Well, it's one of those things. I'm always on a budget around here, but I started off with a Tesoro Mojave. Mainly because, it's like, hey, I have no idea if it's something I want to do. It's turned into being a lot of fun. Obviously I'm not a relic guy. It's pretty much a, parks and a few houses and things like this. But, I have found a, gold class ring, a few sterling silver rings, probably, I don't know, $250 worth of clad this year. And
you got to go over to Hooterville.
I'd say he's hooked. Don't you, Keebs? I'd say he's hooked.
Yeah. There's no question. I enjoy it, but you know what? I'm old enough that you guys, if you guys want to get out there and sweat and when it's 100 degrees. Feel free. I'm going to sit here in the air conditioning and watch it. Okay,
yeah, that's right.
So I don't spend the number of hours, metal detecting at all like what a lot of people do. But it is fun, and but just to understand that there's a few rookies that listen to your channel as well.
And Larry, there's no telling how many old relics are in Bug Tussle.
Now, there's a lot. There's a lot.
I don't know. Bud Tussle is nothing but a 4-way stop with a closed down store at this point in time. So.
Yep, that's it. That's where I want to live.
But you got a new bridge, don't you, Larry?
Yeah, that's right. We do. We got easy access now. That's
yeah.
It, you know. Hey, and Keebs, I want to let you know that, good God, many years ago, I was on a plane flying to Detroit, best I remember, and I got to sit next to Tiny Tim, and he is as strange a guy as he appears to be.
I can imagine.
I actually had I tried to have a conversation with him, but I don't know. It seems like maybe he may not have been on Earth. I'm not 100% sure.
And Keebs, if you play us a show going out, it will not be Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
No.
Hey, Larry, we appreciate the call, and we appreciate you listening. And, hey, reach out to me, holler at me sometime, and we'll link up and do something. You're too close, and that Mojave is a good relic machine. Don't you discount that thing, because you can.
I'd be happy. I'd be happy to come and hunt with you, Lloyd. No problem at all. And like I said, well, I've got Bud Tussle is almost close to T-ville, but you can't believe everything that you read on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, I won't be back until next Thursday. I'm going up north, but as soon as I get back, you holler at me, send me an email or something other, diggingwith7@gmail.com. You just go on the Facebook page or my YouTube page, and it's got an email link. Just email me and tell me when you're free and everything, and we'll hook up and get to meet you.
I know where you live, man. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Enjoy the podcast. Take care, guys.
Hey, appreciate the call.
He's a great guy. It was.
Oh yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out who all we got still on here. We still got Jordan Anderson. You're still with us, ain't you, Jordan?
Yep.
And still got Denny Morrison.
Yep.
Denny Morrison said he was a first-time caller on this. Now, Denny, we would have put you in the T-shirt running if this would have been the first time you didn't call.
Actually, Roy, I actually called Kenny today or this week and ordered double extra large tall Relics radio shirt.
Well, good. When you get that, send me a picture, and we'll put it on.
Do that.
We'll put it on, or just go to the Facebook group page and the contest and put it in there, and you will be in the drawing for that.
I actually am going to wear it when I get down to digging in Virginia.
Oh, great. Great.
I'll put some red dirt all over it.
That's
my wife will tell me.
Support it for us.
Now, did you
Relics Radio?
Did you get the gray one?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I hunted in some red dirt this last week that was as red as Culpeper and just as hot as Culpeper. And I wore my green
in Alabama.
I wore my green hoodie, and it doesn't get on it like it does on the gray. So just saying.
Oh, now you tell me, darn.
Well, call Ken back and order you a green one, too.
maybe Ken's on here. Give me a green one, Ken.
Yeah, we need to get with Mark and Ken and see if we can't get out some digging pants. With the
you know what?
double knees and stuff.
With the double knees in them.
Yep.
Yeah, with the pads in the knees. Where you
the pads are already in them. I've seen them.
I have, too. And I've thought about getting some of those. Hey, Keebs, we had another question, and I'm a little bit afraid to even ask this question, but I know that you will respect the fact that we've got a family friendly show and we've got kids that are listening and everything. But Dennis Kretchencord said, "Do you keep an emergency penny in your pocket all the time?"
Why, yes, I do. 2 or 3, in fact.
Do what?
2 or 3.
Oh, 2 or 3, in fact. And in in the best way possible, tell everybody what you do with that.
Well, sometimes nature calls. And when you've hiked 2 hours out into the woods, you got to dig a hole and go. And I always drop a penny in there for a future detectorist.
Oh, that is hilarious.
A good one. I remember that.
Yeah.
Lloyd, do we want to hunt with Keebs?
I don't know.
At a new site, out of the site he's never been to.
Right, that would be the precursor on that. There's no doubt about it. And I don't know that I want to go to New England and dig any penny signals.
I got a question for you, and this hit me this week. I went to a place that had a one-room schoolhouse, and I'd probably hunted it 100 times before the guy bought the property. But I walked up and knocked on the door and politely asked him if I may metal detect his property. And guess what his answer was? I'm going to get me one of them things one of these days. You ever get that answer?
I think everybody gets that answer every so often.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to get, and I like one. I'm going to get me one of Geiger counters one of these days. And I said, I got for sale. You want to try one now? He didn't want to try it.
I've actually had a lot of farmers tell me that they've already went out and bought, years ago, bought a detector and went out in their fields, and they said, sure did find a lot of oxen shoes.
Yep.
I bet.
And it depends on where you were at on those oxen shoes. That's what they pulled the cannons with, were oxen, not most of the time, not horses.
Oh, yeah.
In the Civil War. Yeah, they pulled them with oxen, and that's why you find a lot of oxen shoes.
Well, we found a few. We don't find a lot, but it was a long time, wasn't it, Keebs, before I ever texted you and told you I found an oxen shoe.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think I've got maybe 6 now. So I found a few. Hey, Becky Mackey is on, and she said when nature calls for them, they use quarters. So when we go to Missouri, go to Missouri, we can't even dig a quarter signal. What's going on with the world here today?
Now wait a minute. Does she mean girls use quarters, or
I don't know.
Or just people from that area.
I guess her and Chris Hamsoff, her husband.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not her husband. That's her ticket partner. Oh, I had to throw that in there, Becky. But I don't know. I guess all of them do. I don't know.
Barb, what do you use?
Don't ask, don't tell.
That's right. Don't ask, don't tell. Yeah,
I probably dug 5 or 6 of them at DIV.
Oh, me. We're getting in dangerous territory here, guys. We may have to.
Speaking of putting something in the hole, can I tell you this real quick story about my partner and I used to dig a Boy Scout camp, and we kept digging these grommets all the time. I went, what the heck's with all these grommets? Well, then we found out the Eagle Scouts have a ceremony at their Eagle Scout doings at the Boy Scout camp, and they burn American flags. And part of the ceremony is they take the grommets and bury them in some unknown place where nobody can find them, except for us screwballs with a metal detector.
I never had heard that.
Yeah, that's part of the ceremony, to bury the grommets, and the Boy Scouts take them out and bury them. And my partner and I, we must have had 200 or 300 on. I said, what the heck is with all these? I figured they were tent grommets, but they weren't. They were flag grommets.
All right. Yep. Well, with the flags that have been decommissioned, they were ratty.
That's exactly right.
Right. They just wouldn't go out and burn a flag.
Oh, no. All the bad flags, and then we take them. I get probably 300 or 400 myself that I have to take care of every year.
Yeah.
That are bad. If I see a flag, it's like the ragged old flag from Johnny Cash, I'll go up there and give them another flag and say, may I have your flag?
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, guys, we got another hard break and another commercial, and we'll be right back. Let us have another call come in, 270-495-0315, a first-time caller, and you might win a Relics Radio T-shirt tonight. If you want to keep up with what's going on in the metal detecting world, then you need to be a subscriber to American Digger magazine. Butch and Anita Holcomb are the publishers of the magazine and have won awards for 3 straight years for being the best digger magazine on the market. American Digger magazine is available in both print and digital formats, so no matter where you live in the world, you can enjoy the latest happenings in the hobby. You can get in touch with American Digger magazine by going to americandigger.com or give them a call at 770-362-8671. And be sure and tell them that you heard it on Relics Radio. And while that's playing out, I want to remind you that I have an article coming out in American Digger magazine in the January-February issue. It is The Great Silver Hoard with Jeff Ford, Wes Stringer, and Chris Hamsoff. And we've got a brand new caller that just came in. Who we got on the line?
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine. Who is this?
Holy lifting. I got stage fright all of a sudden. It's Outdoorsy Gal O from Canada.
Oh, great to have you. Great to have you.
I came here because of Digging Canucks live stream tonight. She had put on an awesome show, and she had quite a few viewers tonight. And she was giving away a hobo nickel, which I had never heard of until tonight. Wondered if you guys had ever heard of a hobo nickel.
Yes.
Nickel.
What about it,
Yeah,
Keebs?
yeah.
I sure have.
Yeah.
Wow. First time for me.
A lot of people, they get their little Dremels out and they make some amazing nickels out of them.
Actually, the hobos made them. The hobos on the trains made them, and then when they stopped in a town, they knew where they could go and get work and get a sandwich. My mother-in-law and my wife's grandmother, they always went to her house, and they paid with a hobo nickel. And they take an Indian head or a buffalo nickel and carve it into a hobo nickel.
It was a really neat thing to see. It had like pumpkins and Happy Halloween, and I believe it was 1936.
Yep.
Well, was it?
Seven, have you ever seen one?
No, I have never seen one. Never dug one. So that's a buffalo nickel that's been carved up with that then, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, it was really neat.
And you won
There's
that
a guy by the name of...
You won that on Lizzie's show tonight then.
No, I didn't win it.
Oh.
She was giving it away, but I just thought it was the neatest thing. And then
John Lambert.
Yeah, John Lambert won
it. Yeah.
I see that in the chat now.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Liz has a great show, and we've had Liz on. She was a great guest, and she was on the other night on a live stream and did a great job. I think a lot of Liz, and I know that you do too.
Yes, I've been to a couple of events with her actually, and met her a couple of times, and we've had some pretty good laughs.
Is she an
mostly over Aquachigger actually?
Yeah. Is she an intense hunter?
Yeah, she's out quite a bit. She has her live streams as well, and like call-in shows, and she does. It's called Off the Cuff, actually.
Yeah.
And she goes anywhere within a 2-hour radius of where she lives.
Yeah.
Man, that's good.
Have you ever watched Stealth Diggers? I know you have on YouTube.
Stealth Diggers. I'm not sure if I have yet.
Well, that's our guest tonight, Keebs. Keebs, inform her. Tell her about Stealth Diggers.
Yeah, please tell me, yes.
Well, you got to go to YouTube.
Okay.
Type in Stealth Diggers and watch.
Okay, Stealth Diggers. Okay.
Yeah.
They have some great videos. Real good videos.
They do.
Excellent.
And Liz can show you if you get stumped.
Okay. Well, no, I'm looking at it right now, actually. Stealth Diggers, live free or die.
There you
Yay!
go,
That's
right
it.
there.
Yep, that's it.
I just gave you a big like.
Good deal. Yeah, subscribe to them. And
then you can subscribe to my personal channel, Mr. Keebler.
Oh, on YouTube?
Yeah. Mr. Keebler.
Okay, I'll do that. How about you give me one too, huh?
I will. Where are you?
I'm in Central Ontario. And I'm Outdoorsy Gal O. And
Outdoorsy Gal O.
Yes, I metal detect, plus I fish and talk about flora and fauna. Things like that. I try to do things outdoors. Except last night I had a Halloween edition where I was reading fortunes as a fortune teller for some of the detectorists.
Well, you should have called in.
Fun.
You should have called in to Josh Kimball's show Beyond Sight and Sound last night. They had a Halloween show that had a lot of that kind of stuff. Hey, Keebs, have you ever hunted up in Canada?
Yeah.
No.
Not yet?
No, the closest I got was Swanton, Vermont, which is about 2 miles from the border.
Well, maybe next year we'll have another event planned. Usually Radio World in Toronto plans it through Jack Summers. And we've had Mine Lab and Garrett representatives come up, like Nugget Noggin and Aqua Chigger, and they've had Gary Drayton of Oak Island, and Riggy and King George, of course, have been up here. Oh yeah, they're all like, it's a big deal. It's like I believe it's going to be a yearly event in June, but it might be a way to get your feet wet up in Canada.
Yeah,
man, that sounds great.
It does.
Yeah.
And
you never know.
What is your first name, if you don't mind?
My real first name is Chrissy.
Chrissy. Hey, Chrissy, our booking agent, Mark Hoover, is in the chat here, and he suggested that we might reach out to you and have you on as a future guest. Would you be interested in doing that?
Well, sure. You can call my home phone number. Now that I've joined your guest's Facebook page, he'll know my real name.
Okay. Well, you don't have to give out a last name or anything, but we'll probably reach out to you. Sounds like that you've got some interesting stuff go on, and we need another Canadian guest. We've had 2 so far, and we need another one. And
I can suggest a few, like Jerse's Metal Detecting, or Redbeard Relic Hunter, or Steve Zazulak Dive Detecting. Steve is already scheduled sometime in December, and by the way, it would be late December before we could have you anyway, because we're booked up. But hey, we appreciate the call, and
we really
thank you for having me and taking the call, because it's a first for me. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to win a T-shirt too?
You are number 4, and
right on.
So right on. You got that from Liz.
Actually, I'm a child of the '60s. I can't help myself.
Okay.
I've always said it.
Me and Keebs are children of the ¡50s. And so maybe even the 40s.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we
That's
know.
Swell.
We know the right on stuff. But yeah, Chrissy, we thank you for the call, and we'll probably be reaching out to you then.
Okay, and I'll look forward to listening to your show.
Oh, great.
It's the first time for me, so.
Well, hang in there tonight and see who wins the shirt then.
Okay.
We're gonna let Ken with Detectives, who is our shirt guy, we're gonna let him pick, and we'll do that toward the end of the show before we close out. So
excellent.
You never know.
Good luck to everyone. Good luck to everyone.
To you too.
Okay, guys.
Say, Simon, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
when I go back and listen to this, will I be able to see the chat again?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll be able to
Oh,
go
okay.
and
Because
see.
there's so many people who put their channels up that I want to be able to hit back because they've hit me.
Right.
And I can't leave this show to do that right now.
No, we'd like for you to stay, Keebs, till it's over.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll give you another cookie.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Nice talking to you guys. I'll let you go so you can get another caller.
Okay, Chrissy.
All right,
Okay.
thank you,
Bye-bye.
Chrissy.
Good deal.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.
And the phone lines are still open, 270-495-0315, and we're looking for a first-time caller. Let's see if we can get at least 5 in here tonight. And
Keebs, we've got another question from Ken King. It says, have you guys ever found a personal item and returned it to the original family?
Oh gosh. Yes. In fact, many times, and a lot of times. See, we don't keep a lot of our stuff. We donate it back to the towns that we find it through either their museums or historical societies, marked, dated, everything. And we've had people come into places saying, "Oh my gosh, that's my grandfather's or great grandfather's," and so on and so forth. Or we've found revolutionary buttons from a home site, and we know where that person was buried. We'd go and visit the grave with the buttons. We wouldn't leave them there, of course, but we would lay them on the headstone and show respect.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
And I had my mic muted and was talking there. I said it is great.
Oh.
And I think Ken was trying to maybe send me a message. I've got my phone running music and ads and everything, so I can't catch that. Ken, you'll have to come back in on the chat and let us know what we need to do on a winner on the shirt here tonight. But that is great, Keebs, that you guys give those things back to the museum. And I've seen in some of y'all's videos where you go and film how those things look. And, those relics really, really and truly, I mean, we find them, and I would argue that we have the right to keep them if that's what we want to do. But why not share them with the community? I've done that, and it opens so many doors for you, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Well, especially if, around here, a family farm has been there for 5-6 generations. So I'll tell them, hey, we find something that was your uncle's, your great-grandfather's, it's yours.
Well, in a real sense, it is. And
exactly, yeah.
And do y'all ever take the little Riker cases and make a display and give to family members, or do you turn everything into the museum there?
If it's going to a family member, they'll get it, pending how it is. Lots of times they're just intrigued. They'll be following us, and we just hand it to them right then and there. It's like, this was definitely your ancestors.
Yeah. Yeah, and it keeps the history alive, and I can just only, I've found a few relics that I've been able to put a name with that relic and talk to people that knew the family or knew the person, years ago or something other, and it just makes the relic come alive.
Yes, without it 100-fold, it means that much more.
It does.
Yeah.
And, you find a lot of things at those old colonial houses, that were very personal items, like a ring. You won't find a lot of gold rings, but you find the brass ones. No. And that meant something to somebody, didn't it?
It sure did, because it may have at one point been gold gilt, and that kind of flaked off. But that's all the money they had. I mean, lots of times a husband would give the wife a thimble
and that was the ring.
You know, I just did a history clip, and it on rings in my last video, and I didn't know that until I researched wedding rings. And the Puritan colonials thought that rings and jewelry was frivolous, you know, that you shouldn't waste your money on that. And so they would give the lady that they were going to marry a thimble and cut the top off of that thimble. Have you ever found any that had the top cut off of them?
Many. And we know exactly what they were.
Yeah.
What we were just talking about here. They were a keepsake, a wedding vow thimble.
Have you ever found just the top that was cut off?
No. Well, maybe.
I found one, and it was at a colonial site, and I knew what it was when I found it because it had all the dimples and everything in it. But I didn't make the connection until this past week whenever I was doing research that, you know, you stop and you think about it. Why would the thick part of the thimble rot away before the top did, you know? And now I know that was probably cut off and discarded, and the thimble was actually made into a ring. So there's a possibility that that ring, thimble ring, is there somewhere at that site.
Yeah, it just, again, the history in the relics. I'm speechless. It just, you don't get that pulling coins out of the ground all day long.
I got one for you fellas. I do not do this. I do not hunt cemeteries, but a fella told me that he had to go in a cemetery and find plots or something or other, and he actually found large cents by the old cemetery markers. And you know what that was for? They buried a large cent there for the day that the guy died or was born. They laid it by the marker, a large cent. So for you guys that hunt cemeteries, which I do not, if you find large cents by an old grave marker, it was a family heirloom, and they put it there by the marker itself. And also rings. A lot of ladies will pin their wedding ring beside the stone.
And I think that, you know, I'm like you. I'm not going to hunt a cemetery. I'll hunt around them, you know, but right up next to the gravestones and everything, I just, I think that's a lack of respect to do that. And if somebody... Go ahead, Keeps.
Many towns have outlawed it since metal detecting has come along.
Yeah.
It's not proper. It's a resting place of people, and loved ones visit and leave little personal items for their family members. There's no way I would ever be in a cemetery, and I'd throw rocks at anybody I'd see in their metal detecting on a cemetery land.
Well, it puts a bad light on us. If somebody drives by, they may not care, you know, there's some people that just don't want you metal detecting at all. We found that out down in Alabama. But then there are those that may not care, you know, really. But if they seen you swinging around in a cemetery, I think that would rub everybody wrong.
Oh, it sure would. I've never even seen anyone swing in a cemetery. And, of course, I mean, me personally, I believe it should be illegal to swing your coil in the cemetery. So, I mean, I wouldn't do it just because, I mean, the respect deal. And then also, I mean, you may get some bad juju take home with something.
Well, you deserve bad juju, don't you?
You sure do. So, did you get that message I sent you over Skype?
I don't have my. I didn't have my Skype thing up here. I'm trying to get down here to see it. Okay, yeah, I got it. And see, that's something that the rest of you guys don't know, is that me and Jeff can message back and forth on Skype on the link here, and you know, we can say whatever we want to say about you guys, and you don't even know what we're talking about. Hey, Keebs, I told you before the show that we wanted you to play us a song. And by the way, if you go to YouTube to Mr. Keebler, his channel there is generally about him taking a mandolin and playing a song. And that's what he's going to do for us. The first time that you've ever heard on a podcast live, the Keebs playing a live song.
Should I go now?
Go now, yeah.
Okay. I want everybody singing along because you know these words. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing the song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you until we meet
again.
That was great.
That was great. That was great. Oh, me. Our message said that Ken said he wanted Chrissy to have the Relics Radio T-shirt. And then we've got, he said, and one more, whoever we pick. And so,
okay.
Hey, Keebs, you don't know. You don't know who is who. Give me a number between 1 and 3.
1.
Okay, 1. Jordan Anderson.
Jordan
Anderson gets 1, and Chrissy gets 1. And so if both of y'all will message me at diggingwith7@gmail.com, give me your address, give me your shirt size. You can get the military green. You can get the standard gray, which was the first shirt that came out. And by the way, this is a limited edition Relics Radio T-shirt. And I'll tell you something else. Jeff will back me up on this. People that get one of those shirts begin to find great stuff, don't they, Jeff?
They sure do. They sure do. So it's got some good juju to it.
It's got good juju. And if you didn't win one tonight, you can go to detectees.com and just pick out the Relics Radio. They've got all kinds of shirts, but we put that out there earlier. And by the way, if you've got kids or grandkids that are in sports, all the parents and grandparents want shirts that support that team. They can do a big group thing, make all the shirts for the parents and everything, and I guarantee you're going to get a better shirt and a better deal from them than you will anywhere. And I'm not saying that just because they help sponsor our show. They are just great people, and they make great shirts, and so keep that in mind.
They really do, and we appreciate them a lot. We do.
Hey, Keebs.
And they're made in the U.S. of A.
That's exactly right. Well, they're put together in the U.S. of A. I don't know where the I don't know where the shirts come from, but they are put together. And as I told everybody at the first of the show, we had a PBS broadcast engineer in the house or in the studio here tonight. I probably won't get a job at NPR with the burying of the penny deals and everything. That's, but we are who we are. So if you want me, you're going to get the whole package, So
yeah.
Keebs, you've been a great guest. And before we get out, give us those links again where we can find you on YouTube and Facebook and everything.
Well, Stealth Diggers is just that, Stealth Diggers on both Facebook. Oh, actually, I think Facebook now is known as Stealth Digger Nation.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. YouTube, though, is Stealth Diggers still. And my personal YouTube is Mr. That's MR period Keebler. Keebler.
And what a great show tonight, anniversary show.
And I'm really looking forward to next year coming back again.
We're going to put you down. We're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and schedule it, and that's what you said last year. And I didn't know. I didn't know if this show would last a year, but it did.
Oh yeah, and it is best show out there.
Well, we really appreciate it,
and we agree with you that it is the best show out there.
Yeah,
we work hard at it. I tell you, it's a lot more work than I thought that it was going to be. But if you do it right, you know, you got to have a lot of promotion. You know that. Y'all do that with Stealth Diggers. Yeah. And you got to have a lot of promotion. And we do some giveaways and things, and we're very fortunate to have people that want to help us on that. And, you know, and we got a great guest again next week, Chuck Smalley, with Southwest Shooter Supplies and Prospecting. He will be our guest. And if you don't know this guy, he is an outstanding person with a lot of knowledge, and we're really looking forward to this show because he's going to have a lot of things that will really be interesting to all of us. And you guys hang on the line, and I'll talk to you as soon as I close the show out. I'm going to go ahead and mute your mic, but
wait.
Go ahead.
Till we meet again.
Which will be the third or the second anniversary of Relics Radio. Great job tonight, Keebs. Great job.
Thank you. And I enjoyed being here, guys.
We enjoyed you being here, didn't we, Jeff?
We sure
did.
And
I thank everybody. who tuned in and who's going to tune in the future.
That's right. All of those people overseas are now have been exposed to the Keebs.
Oh boy!
Yeah,
man. These Mark and Ken, they're going to be busy. These shirts are going off the shelf quick.
They probably are. And
it's going to be like a generator during a hurricane.
and I tell you something else, Keebs. You got 1,000 subscribers right now. I'm going to challenge everybody that is listening tonight. Go to YouTube. Go to Mr. Keebler, Mr. Keebler. Subscribe to this guy's channel and support everything that he does. And then go to Stealth Diggers and subscribe to that channel. You're going to see some fantastic colonial hunting, and these guys do it right. I mean, it will become addictive to you. And they've got the Not Thirsty videos now, so you get a lot of things whenever you begin to watch Stealth Digger Nation. Isn't that right,
That
Keith?
is right.
Yeah.
That is correct, 100% correct.
All great guys, and you've been a great guest. And if you like podcasts like this, go ahead and check out Beyond Sight and Sound on Sunday night and Wednesday night. And if you haven't caught Josh's show from last night, the Halloween show, go back and listen to the archive of that. They're on at 8 o'clock both of those nights. And then All Metal Mode is on at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Monday night. American Digger Relic Roundup is on Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. History Seekers is on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. And Hardcore Metal Detecting is on Thursday night and Saturday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. And also, XP Deus has a new podcast that they launched this last week. It was an abbreviated show, but that is supposed to be on every Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. And obviously, me and Jeff will be back this next Thursday night. I'll be driving in from up north that Thursday, but I'll be here for the show, and we want you to be here with us then as well. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Relics Radio. We really do appreciate it. Be sure and join us live each Thursday night at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern here on Spreaker. Or you can catch the archive show at Relics Radio on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or iTunes. Please take a minute and hit the like button and be sure and follow us so that you'll get notifications of all of our upcoming broadcasts. You can also find us on YouTube at Digging with Seven or Tennessee Jeff, or you can check us out on our Relics Radio Facebook page. If you'd like to get in touch with us, then send an email to diggingwith7@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We hope you'll join us next Thursday night And until then, get out there and dig some history.